What's up, y'all? Tipping on three back here with another one, some lowrider education. But before we get started on this video, I wanted to tell y'all to go ahead and go to our website, check it out. All the latest lowrider gear designed by a lowrider, myself, for lowriders. We got hats, t-shirts, uh, different colors coming out, new designs I'm working on. The website, I'll put it in the link below, so go ahead, check that out. Again, it's designed by lowrider, for lowriders, straight lowrider merch. And if you're lucky enough, you might catch it on a promo day. But let's get started on this video here. In today's video, we're going to talk about multimeters, all right? And the different ways you can use a multimeter to check all the electrical for your hydraulic system. It's actually crazy that, when people come to my Facebook, Instagram, wherever they ask for help, I usually tell them, bro, you got a multimeter, go ahead and use that. You can use it to test that. And a lot of people don't use multimeter to test their stuff. They just start ripping stuff out and start slapping in new parts, new noise, new motors, new electrical, new wires, new everything. And that's crazy because with a multimeter, you don't got to take none of this apart to test your system. You can do all that in the trunk. And this thing will save you a lot of time, a lot of headache. And we're just going to go over, I'm probably going to make a couple of videos out of this because I don't want to bore y'all with a super long video, because if I get into everything about this multimeter and what you can test, because that's what I'm going to go over in detail so you understand, you're going to get bored and you're going to zone out and you're going to stop watching the video and you're not going to learn nothing. And my goal is to help you try to learn something so everybody can work on their cars and be really effective with working on their cars, because this low ride stuff, it's not too hard. It was hard when I first started. I didn't know, but once you get the hang of it and start to learn, understand, it's not rocket science. It's easy, and all of it ties together with everything. But let me quit talking. Let's get into it. So let's go over the multimeter. The multimeter is this tool here. Crazy tool, great tool. I feel like if you have a low rider, you should have a multimeter. This multimeter, it's a pretty expensive multimeter. I got it when I was like 18, working at my last job. Long story short, they left it out. I seen it. I needed it. It was mine. Simple as that. All right. No self-incrimination. That was 12 years ago. That deal was done. But this is the Fluke 117 True RMS multimeter. Multimeters usually range from about, $10 for a little cheap one, which that'll work perfectly fine for this, to maybe like a couple $100 or 120, $130 maybe, for a really, really nice one. But you don't even got to get all that. You can go with a cheap one from Harbor Freight or Amazon, and you can get one of those to do exactly what you need. As long as you have the two settings that I normally use, the volt testing and the continuity testing, and we'll go over those different settings here shortly in the video, you can do that. For this first section, we're going to go over testing your voltage and checking your voltage and how to use it to check your batteries and everything. Let's get into it. Well, we'll bring that back. Let's actually rewind that. I got a little ahead of myself here. Let me go over the multimeter first so people understand. So with a multimeter, what comes with it, I don't know. I never bought one. Obviously, I told you that. But the most common leads that are going to come with your multimeter are these probe leads here. You see that? And these work great also, but they're hard to use when you're by yourself. You got to kind of use them like chopsticks, and with two hands, you got to try to get it on there, and then it's just a struggle. Okay, so my leads that I use when I'm by myself are these alligator clip leads here. These are perfect. You can go ahead and clip these on, and you can get a free hands, and you can do whatever you need to do to check your connections or check whatever. All right, so you can get these on Amazon for about $10. When you set up the multimeter, you can see, let me take these off here. You have 3 connections at the bottom. I don't know if all of them are like this, but I know mine is like that. So what you have is your black one here, which is your ground. That's your common there. So you're going to go ahead and plug your black in the black. Then you'll have 2 reds, possibly. I do. We're not going to use this one here that has just an A on it. I'm not even sure what that is or what that does. Actually, I think that's for alternating current, because you can use it for house stuff also. We're going to go ahead and use this one with this V for volts, this little horseshoe, which means ohms, and this little like sound wave right here, that's continuity. But voltage and continuity are the top 2 settings that you're always going to use. So we're going to go ahead and plug our red lead into that that port right there. And we're going to go ahead and get started on that. Like I said, two common settings. You're going to use voltage. This is auto volts. These other ones are also volts, but we're not going to use those. The ohm setting is more so for sound system, subwoofers. I used to be big into subwoofers, but I didn't really understand it, how to use it, and I didn't really dive too crazy into it either. So I'm not going to tell you how to use that. Y'all can figure it out somewhere else on YouTube. But the continuity setting is a setting you're going to use also. This is the one that I use the most, to be honest. And that's the one. That's the one that's going to tell you. So without further ado, let's finally dive right into the voltage section of this testing your batteries and stuff like that for this part of this video. This is probably going to be like a four video series. Like I said, this is going to be pretty long, and I'm not trying to sit here and bore y'all. So for the voltage portion of this video here, this is quite simple. What you're going to do is, obviously, you put your ground on your ground side, which will be your first battery or whatever battery you're starting with. And I mean that because it doesn't always have to be your first battery. So my first battery would be over here. That's my grounded battery. But if I wanted to start from the second battery, that's where my starting point would be. So your common, your ground for the multimeter always starts wherever your ground is going to be. And I'll make that make sense here shortly. So we're going to go ahead and put this multimeter on the volt settings. And we're going to start here. And you do not have to have your quick disconnect started plugged in for any of this to work. Okay, all this will work without the quick disconnect. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this on here. All right, and let's run over to my fifth battery here, which should read about like 60 volts or something. So we'll run over to this and we'll put it on here. There you go. I got 63 volts running here. All right. So remember I said you don't got to put it on your first battery. You don't. It's just you got to put it on a battery that completes the circuit or the ground. All right. So we're going to take it off my first battery here. As you can see, it's reading 63 volts. We're going to put it on the ground of this battery. It's going to read 48 something volts, 50 volts. See that? So again, all you got to do for that is you got to find the ground. That's the easy part. All right. And again, with this, batteries are normal. Even though they're connected in series, these are just still regular 12 volt batteries. So on my 10th battery, which is 120 volts over here, I have 12 volt lights running to that because you're not going to go up in voltage unless you cross the batteries. And that means unless I go to a positive to negative on a battery, these batteries won't go up in voltage. So this is still 12 volts, 12 volts, 12 volts, 12 volts, 12 volts. And I actually charge my batteries that way. You know, as long as you don't cross them, I don't go from this negative to this positive over here while it's, you know, connected in series. I'm not going to go up in voltage. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and put this positive on this positive of the battery. I'm going to put my negative lead over here, and it's going to read 12 volts, 12.7 volts. So again, this is a 24. This is 24 volts here, and you can see it linked in series. But when I go ahead and put this positive on here, which is where my switches come from, 24 volts, right? I only have 12.6 volts. So unless I cross these batteries, I'm only going to get 12 volts. So we're going to go ahead and put it over here to where my ground starts, 25.3 volts. So that's a good thing to remember, that you, like I said, even though they are connected, they're still singles. Even with my ground, my disconnect, meaning my quick disconnect connected, these are still 12 volt batteries until you cross a battery. So you connect them, go from a positive to one battery and to a negative to another. That's the only time you're going to go up in voltage. So that's how you check voltage with a multimeter. Let's move on to the next video, next section here. We're going to go over checking your solenoids with a multimeter. So I hope that first section of the multimeter, reading your voltage, will help somebody, you know, help you get started. That's always the first steps. We're going to go ahead, like I said, this one probably will be 4 or 5 different videos on one topic. because there's multiple uses for this. So you go ahead and check out the next video you want, which will be testing your solenoids in different ways to check if they're bad or if they're good with the multimeter. Peace.